Welcome to the free resources area of Intention 21, the career hub of Turning Green. Turning Green is a recruitment firm connecting talented people with organisations looking to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn and be the first to hear about opportunities. Also check out our career management program. It's designed to help you create a career you'll love.
Hi and welcome to this short training video on how to use LinkedIn for company research. I've no doubt you're already familiar with LinkedIn, especially if you're searching for a job or building your network. But the purpose of this video is to put some structure around your approach. So as a job seeker, you'll want to be using LinkedIn, I think, for two reasons when it comes to researching companies. One is to build a picture of the organisations you're interested in, either to approach them directly or to prepare for an interview that may have been organised for you through a headhunter or a recruiter. And secondly, to research the people within the organisations you're interested in, with a view to organising perhaps an informational interview with them to find out more about the organisation. So I'm going to go to the home page and select interests. But you can also type up here in companies and search for a specific company. Or interests, as I said, under companies. This takes you to an area where you can see all the organisations that you're following. You can also go to the company's home area, and here all of the updates from the companies that you're following are listed. These also show in the middle column of the organisation, which we'll look at in a minute. And you can search on companies, and there's quite comprehensive search criteria here on the left. So you can search on the whole 3 million plus organisations across the whole of LinkedIn. But you can also look at all of those companies that you have first connections in, which is great for setting up those informational interviews. But then if there's a second or a third connection in an organisation that you're also interested in, you can go in and look at how you're connected to those individuals and get an introduction. You can also break it down further by location. You can look specifically at job opportunities, like who's hiring across the LinkedIn network, and look at industries, company size, number of followers, and the index that they're listed on. Now, our career management program will take you through a much more detailed career development guide process, and that will enable you to then start thinking about which industries you're interested in, which will help to structure this process better for you. But you might choose to just do this on your own. So going back into companies, I'm going to click on, for ease, the first one that comes up that I'm following, which is Accenture. Now, scrolling down, this middle area here, as I said earlier, is where all the individual company has their updates. So you haven't got a aggregate amount of updates here. It's purely updates related to the company profile that you're in. And this can be anything around topics of interest, events that they may be hosting, surveys, reports, anything related to the organisation that is of interest in the market they're operating in. I would scroll right down to the bottom, but it can take a while to load the information. But at the bottom, what you'll find is a beautiful overview of the organisation, along with the size of the company, how many employees they have, which sector they're operating in, when they were founded. So that's a really good summary of the company that you can find at the bottom. Over on the right here is the follow button. So you click on that, and that then feeds through all those updates into your own personal profile. Down here we've obviously got how you're connected to the organisation, and this is where you can see how many first, second or third degree connections you have. But it's also really good to see what type of people the organisation are hiring, what backgrounds they have, what sort of education they have, and what they're actually doing in their roles. So it's really good to identify if there is anybody there that you can get in touch with and have an informational interview with about the organisation. And what you'd be looking for in these informational interviews is just to ask questions around their view of the company culture. What do they like about working there? What do they love about working there, if anything? What have they found to be the biggest challenge in their role? And is this something that's prevented them from fulfilling their role requirements? or is it something that is stretching their intellect further? These are the sorts of things from a career perspective be really critical for you to know so that your career is sustainable. Do they know the hiring manager that you might be reporting into in the area of interest? And if so, what can they tell you about them? Can you tell me a little bit about the products that I might be working with or representing? You would have also done a fair amount of research yourself on competitors and company information. But the benefit of going in and talking directly to somebody in the organisation is that you're getting access to their experience and their expertise and perspective. It can really help you to also get clear on your career path and fine-tune your goals. And it's an excellent way to assess the true culture of the organisation, but also being objective and mindful of the fact that it's their perspective. Gaining insider tips can also give you an edge over other candidates that might be going for positions within the organisation, and it can even sometimes provide you with access to the hidden job market. You can learn about the trends, obviously, that are shaping and transforming the industry, but again, it's advisable to have done a level of research yourself and not just go in blind and asking questions that perhaps you should have researched. If handled well, it can actually expand both of your professional networks and really add value to both parties. So don't forget to ask how you can help them as well and what you can do for them. Now, if you're not actually comfortable approaching people and organising these types of discussions, it's still a good place here to explore, for example, what type of people are in the organisation and what their background and education is. As long as they filled out their LinkedIn profile correctly, you should find everything within here and you can start to build a picture of the type of employees at that organisation. Over to the left here again, you can look at your relationship, your first, second, third connections, which members are in which groups. The Sydney employees aren't listed here, and all we have to do is type in the location that you're looking to search under, and it adds that location and brings in, here we go, 1,175 individuals. So you can then go through and start to form a picture of the profile of people within the different areas within the organisation that you're searching for. Okay. Now, another good place to look, if we go back to the organisation, is the products and services area. So this is listed here. Obviously, Accenture is a service industry, so there are only services showing here. We've got consulting, technology, right down to sustainability. And you can go in and recommend or share this information. There's also videos listed often, not only here but in the careers section, which will tell you a little bit about Accenture. You get to meet the staff that are already working there. And again, if you're worried about meeting people face to face for an informational interview, it's just not your style, I would recommend that you get used to that from a networking perspective. But if it's not your style, the careers area would often have interesting overviews and insights about the organisation that will at least give you some information that you can take with you into the interview. Now, some company profiles also have an area called an insights page. That's really useful for obtaining contextual knowledge about your relationship with the organisation. And what I mean by that is that it lists people that have worked at the organisation in previous years, maybe not there now, but have worked there in the past, and who you're connected with. So that's an opportunity to approach people in your network that you're very comfortable with and ask them, what was it like working there? Why did you leave? And get information from them in that regard. So by applying a structured approach, you can use LinkedIn to build a profile of the organisation, and particularly those that you're interested in once you know who you want to target. You can also develop an understanding of their competitors, the people who work for them, doing roles that appeal to your own strengths and personal interests.